In the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome back. For our last segment, we want to welcome back Karen and Stephen Kotick from the Markham Village City Ratepayers Association. And, you know, there's just so much money. That's it. There's just so much money to go around. And, you know, Markham Stouffville Hospital is always looking for money if it's available. And the subway, we're told, can't come up Yonge Street because there's no money. And is this where the city should find $325 million to plunk into something?
There's a few things that they don't have money for. They don't have money to bury the hydro lines down in the same area. It's too much money, apparently. And I believe there's also an issue in Thornhill with the sewers. There's an issue with the sewers. Flooding. Yeah, and apparently they don't have money to fix that either. So, but you have $325 million to build an arena. Like, it doesn't make sense where the priorities are. The priorities should be put out to the public. What is your priority? Is it this? Is it this? Or is it an arena that you could be paying for the next 25 years?
Well, you know, we were supposed to have Councillor Howard Shore today on the show, and unfortunately he couldn't make it because of flooding in his neighborhood where he lives in Markham because of a storm. And maybe that should be the message, is that doesn't seem to be the 1 in 100-year storm, which is what the municipalities seem to say to us whenever we have issues with flooding, such as today, where there is quite a bit of flooding going on, that it's not the 1 in 100-year storm. These storms seem to happen once every few years. Maybe even once a year. Perhaps it's the water tables rising, perhaps it's climate change, but whatever it is, we have to address it, and it does cost millions and millions of dollars.
But we don't have the money to fix that, though. So how do you explain to those residents there that are affected by it that we can build the arena, but we can't fix the sewers in your neighborhood? Like, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense whatsoever.
No, it doesn't, and I think you've raised an excellent point, and that point is there's really one taxpayer. Yes, there's the federal government, there's the provincial government. They've slipped in the regional government on us and now the municipal government, and it just seems that every time we turn around, someone else is reaching into our pockets. This is probably the worst way that Markham, as a city, could spend $325 million.
Well, let's say that we had the York region and the province mandated the way it did for Toronto, got rid of Metro and made all the cities become the City of Toronto. What if that happened in the future and all the cities of York region became the City of York region? So, you know, we lost our autonomy and Markham wasn't its own city anymore. Do you think that all the residents of York region would be wanting to spend this amount of money to build an arena in Markham? I think that's kind of an interesting question. Should this be maybe a regional project? Because really it is for the region. I think it's too big a project for Markham.
I believe they originally, when this came about a couple of years back, I believe they went to the federal government for money on this. And from what I've understood was Stephen Harper turned around and said, no more money for professional sports. That's it, we're cut off. So this is why originally this was supposed to be all privately done. Now it's publicly done. As soon as it went to be a public arena with public money, then it should have gone into the newspaper and said, okay, who wants to build this? Because there should be investors lining, like you said before, there should be investors lining up the door to take part in this.
Without the transparency of a tendering process, how do you know you're getting the best deal? Yeah. How do we, the taxpayers of Markham, know that $325 million is the right price? Maybe it's $225 million, maybe it's $125 million. What does it really cost to build an arena? And frankly, I don't think our council has the wherewithal to make these decisions, and I think they need input from professionals, people who understand the business, understand the industry, and frankly, I just don't think they should be in the business at all. Again, potable water, keep our roads clean, keep the surfaces smooth, you know, make sure that our wastewater is moving out. Poor Howard is probably up to his chin in wastewater right now.
You're just hoping that. Well, that's not very nice.
Howard's a nice guy, but you know, we're here and he's not, and I find that offensive, and I find that an abdication of his democratic duty is to be here and inform people I don't see anyone from the council on this table.
Yeah, it's very frustrating sometimes to get the council to come out when they're worried that maybe, they're going to be asked some tough questions and they're not prepared to answer the tough questions. So have you gone to private meetings? Is anybody supporting? Who's supporting your fight to not use taxpayer money to fight this arena? Anybody on council at all?
I believe Joe Lee voted against it.
And I thought Jim Jones.
Jim Jones voted against it. Those are the two that voted against. I believe there's probably 3 or 4 other ones who are now questioning the viability. Valerie Burke, I think, has got some questions. I believe Don Hamilton's got some questions.
I live in Carolina Moretti's riding.
Yeah, I'm not sure where
I've
she
sent
is.
numerous emails to council asking specifically, what's in this for taxpayers? How does it make my taxes go down? How does it improve the roads and sewers? And she hasn't responded. So there are a number of councillors that just are either completely in the dark or just don't know what's going on or prefer to operate in Frank's cloak of secrecy.
I believe Colin Campbell has an issue with the rent as well, and he said to me, I've got emails from him too, if the rent doesn't escalate every year, then he's not going to vote for the financial framework either. And some of them, like you said, just don't respond to emails.
At all.
But what's the repercussions? So what if they don't pay the rent?
Well, Remington has guaranteed GTA Centre's portion of the 50% of the construction costs. So if Graham walks, and this is what my situation, what happens if GTA walks away from here? Well, Remington will be on the hook to make that 162.5 million over 20 years, which is really 248 million. So then is Remington going to be the tenant in the facility? Are they going to be in the entertainment business, or does it come back to Markham, and then do we have to find a new tenant?
Because so often
too many questions.
The reality is that governments can't afford to hire the best lawyers and maybe even the best planning team for these kind of things. And we so often see that governments get outsmarted by private business. And I think the 407 is a prime example where the government got outsmarted because the reality is that the politicians aren't so fantastically well trained or well paid, and the government lawyers. It's one of the examples of where public employees get paid less than in the private sector. Mm-hmm. And I think that, that's what concerns me, is that I think that this is going to be another case of the 407 where the taxpayers really didn't get a fair deal, I don't think.
No, it'll be
they
another,
were outsmarted.
Yeah, it'll be another Sky Dome issue. Rudy Brady will end up buying this for next to nothing a few years down the road. That's my personal opinion. The engineers, the transportation people who have been in there, they're all hired by GTA in Remington. Why are we, if it's our facility and we own it, why are we not hiring the engineers? Why are we not doing a traffic study? We're not. The engineers and all the consultants that they're using have been hired by GTA in Remington. So that, to me, is a little bit of conflict of interest.
They have a very one-sided story, and they paint that one-sided story in the meetings we've been to. And I think the other thing that we find somewhat offensive is in these meetings, Frank will shout out, oh, this is the greatest thing to happen to Markham, and oh, I've got 90% support. Show me. Don't tell me. Show me. Because bluster and bluff, give me a list. Give me a list of all of the events that are going to be held in this facility for the next 3 years, because organizations like Live Nation, they book stuff out way in advance. So show us the list of how this is sustainable.
Show us the NHL team.
Mm-hmm. Show us the team. Show me the money.
Yeah, it's going to be Frank's boys, which we call the team. I think we should definitely name it after Frank, because it's really a coup to him if he can pull off getting an NHL team into Markham. I think that's what people are the most nervous about, is that they don't believe that this place will be successful. It's not just the money; it's the ongoing money afterwards if the place isn't successful. In Vaughan, we see a lot of times the same developers doing a lot of the municipal projects, the city hall, the community centers. Mm-hmm. So what else for the city, in terms of the city of Markham? I keep saying the town of Markham. I have to keep reminding myself.
Still a town.
It's still a town in your heart. But what
Something else that didn't go out very publicized about the change?
Well, it came
one meeting and it was done, voted on and done.
Yeah, I try to stay on top of things, and it was a surprise to me as well. Has Remington Remington done other projects for the municipality? Is there a special arrangement that you feel is going on?
Remington has done many projects for the municipality, but I don't think any that have involved $325 million worth of taxpayers' money. So, I mean, that's our beef. Love the idea of the arena. Understand it would make it a destination, but not on our dime. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Well, that's a great, closing to this segment of our show. That, thank you very much. We love it. We think it's a great idea. We'll go there. We'll promote it. We'll invite our friends from out of town and buy tickets. But we don't want to own it, and we don't want to have the headache. We want to sleep at night, and that's the reality. Is we all want to sleep at night.
I'll pay my $100 for a ticket. I'll go there and come home and not have to worry about paying it on my property tax bill next month.
Let somebody else worry. If I was sitting in my
Absolutely.
seat and I saw the roof starting to leak and you're starting to shake. Thanks to all of my guests today, and thanks to you for watching. Until next time, keep me posted, get in touch, and let me know what's trending in your neighborhood.